Stream is live. Give them a couple minutes to get in there. And I'll make it explore the same arguments I've made on this subject before, which is that doxing is a mechanism of attempted murder. But I'll expound and elaborate on that a bit. And good morning. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects this morning, but how you doing, Sunshine?
Better now?
Indeed. Coffee. Because murder is wrong.
Right.
In theory. So, so a thing happened. Now, I've been wanting to talk about this affordable connectivity program thing that's going on, where the government is just handing out tablets and data packages to basically everybody that gets money from the government, except, amazingly, disabled veterans. Found that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some theories on this, that basically the state-run propaganda organs like WAPO and New York Times and the like just aren't getting their message to enough cheap, easy Democrat voters. So let's give them free internet and something to look at it on, because God knows you can't get these people in a freaking library to use a free computer that's already paid for by government money. Anywho.
Well, and WAPO and a lot of those newspapers, like behind paywalls, or you only get like 3 free articles a month, stuff like that. So as far as, like, if you're the kind of person who's going to take a free tablet with like a $10 a month data plan or whatever, are you really looking at CNN?
No. But you have to remember who we're talking about. You're talking about the same people who said, you know what? We've lost all our viewers. I know. We'll charge them to watch our content.
Yeah, all 10,000.
And they're failing. Failing. So they've got nearly 100,000 subscribers, but less than 10,000 active daily users, which means they managed to con 100,000 people into paying them money, most of whom have forgotten that they've subscribed for $3 or $6 a month, and will probably continue to forget that until they get into one of those like Truebill things that goes through and looks for your useless subscriptions and cancels them. By the way, you probably have useless subscriptions that you're not using that you should use something like Truebill and go through and cancel them all.
Oh, I know what I have. I have, like, I currently have the Netflix and Crunchyroll and Amazon Prime.
Ooh, Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had Crunchyroll. I have the other one.
What's the other one?
Funimation.
Crunchyroll's like Funimation, but they don't censor stuff, and you have to be able to read subtitles.
Or you could just speak the language.
Yes, you're a polyglot.
Oh, you know how many?
Yeah, but most of the stuff on Crunchyroll is from Japan,
Correct.
not Korea. So, her.
Well, Ilbono and Hanguk Mall are not quite Dokatayo, but peace and Hangouts. Most of you should have gotten that from context. So, what happened was, there's this. We're going to talk about the doxing of Libs of TikTok, and before we get into what actually happened, I want to. You may not all be tracking on what Libs of TikTok is. I know a lot of my viewers are not habitual Twitter users, and like we've discussed on the show before, I never would have gotten a Twitter account originally if it wasn't for this show and a couple of things. One, I use Twitter to promote the show, and two, things trend on Twitter, and keeping up with what's trending on the internet generally and on Twitter. So, when I'm researching for what a show topic's going to be, I'll look at what are people searching on YouTube, what are people searching on Twitter, what are people searching on Google, on DuckDuckGo, et cetera, et cetera. So being able to keep up with the trends is important. And plus, when something like this trends on Twitter, the internet does a lot of the research for me, and I can see the articles that other people are sharing and read those articles and check those articles for sources and links. And
Twitter is a fantastic resource.
It is. It's a great resource for somebody who knows how to use it. Yes, Striker, Vampire Hunter D. Wow, I haven't thought about that in a hot minute.
Yeah, it's been like 20 years since I've seen that.
It's good though. Remember Blue Cross? No, what was it? Chrono Cross. Anyway, so what Libs of TikTok is?
It's basically an account that just shares liberals, and to be fair, it's the more extreme liberals, but it is leftists who post psychotic things, who think they're putting wisdom and positivity out into the world with the stuff that they post. Okay,
no.
Like these are...
You're right, but I find it more and more difficult to believe that these nut jobs are anything but malicious.
Well, even when they're being malicious, even when they're saying somebody else is a piece of trash, they think they're on the side of right. They think they're on the side of morality and justice and goodness and all that. Like when a dude in a dress says in a lisp that comes on and off and on and off and on and off, and talks about how, actually it's not just non-binary, it's all the different genders, and he very unironically lisps his way into explaining why it's all the patriarchy, and even though he has a penis, he's still a girl. And I'm not exaggerating. These are the kinds of things you'll find on Libs of TikTok, okay?
Hey, Stryker, what's your username on Twitter so I can follow you for some of that J6 No 3 stuff? Just drop it in there so I can pick you up there.
But yeah, that's what Libs of TikTok is. It's just an account that reshares things that liberals have said. It's just not taken out of context. It's not really editorialized beyond the fact that
she does edit the videos.
No, I understand that, but
she takes them and she adds her watermark to them and then reposts them in their entirety in the context that they were original. So, but that's the extent. That's the extent of the editing that happens there. Is she adds her watermark to them
like
to
I
put
said,
them on the account.
I said she didn't editorialize. Outside of the fact that she chooses which ones to post and which ones to promote, but outside of that,
I'm bolstering your claim.
I got it.
Okay. I'm helping you.
Right.
Let me help you. So
anyhow, it's Libs in their own words.
Now, like Cameron just said, the ones that she shares, and Libs of TikTok has remained a private person, the woman behind it, and basically the only thing we've known about her is that she's a woman. But like Cameron was saying, what she does share on her Twitter account, Libs of TikTok, is the extreme stuff. But this is why it's important to understand this. These are the people that your current government is actively catering policy to. It may be that these people are extreme and they are the minority of Democrat voters, but they are the voices that are driving policy. And in fairness, they are the same voices. They're also the same voices that are driving policies like the recent bill in Florida. Stryker, I've got that article pulled up about Pam Geller. We're going to get to that in just a minute. But these are also the extremists that drive policies like the parent protection bill that was recently signed in Florida, with similar bills being signed in other conservative states. Because
you mean the Don't Say Gay bill?
I don't mean the Don't Say Gay bill, but yes, I'm referring to the bill that the enemy refers to as the Don't Say Gay bill because they're a pack of fucking liars.
They really don't teach kids younger than 3rd grade about sex bill, but whatever.
Right. It's Don't Stick Yourself in My Child bill.
Again, just one more time. Who needed a law to get told 3rd grade's probably too young for the talk?
Democrats needed that law.
But I just...
Kind of like how Democrats need a law that says don't murder your children. I would like to see a law, one sentence, signed. Love your kids. Period. It's not hard. Now, keeping them alive because they're little sociopathic suicide machines, that's hard. Right, catching them every time they jump off of a height, or trying to throw a pillow every time they decide to dive face first into some random pile of broken glass, or they want to see what the penny does in the outlet. That's hard work. Hell, just convincing them to eat when they're hungry can be hard work. But love them. Love them enough to do the work. And part of that work is not murdering or raping them, Democrat. That's all we're asking. Right? When we're talking about the psychopathy of the enemy, all we're asking is don't murder and rape children. And I'll be honest, the more I see out of the left, the more I want to say, you know what? Maybe the right answer is just to teach my children not to murder their own children, because morality aside, national security is best served by Democrats getting abortions. But the reason it's important to understand that when Libs of TikTok shares these TikToks, what she's sharing are the most extreme voices. Those are the voices that are delegating and directing policy decisions being made by the current Democrat administration. An administration, by the way, so inept
The Easter Bunny had to
that they
take over.
sent the Easter Bunny out to shut him up because they were scared to death he was going to start answering questions. And did you see the bit where they're all standing on the balcony and everybody starts waving except Joe? And Jill's right next to him on a hot mic, and you can hear her say, Joe, wave,
Joe.
wave, Joe.
Yes. The one I'm still stuck on is when he turns around to shake somebody's hand, and it takes him like a full second and a half to realize there's nobody there.
Oh, I forgot. We're not supposed to acknowledge the clockwork elves in front of humans.
Yeah.
I want to see a lot. I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot more of Joe and Nancy licking their lips in front of the camera.
You know, I'm going to answer Bert's
Tasting beer.
question real quick. He says, do you think the handlers laugh about it afterwards? No.
I think the handlers are terrified.
That's what I think as well. I think the handlers are scared to death. I think they understand exactly the precarious position that they're in. I think if there's anybody that doesn't think this shit is funny at all, it's the handlers, because they're the ones that, you know, like, boy, you want to talk about, like, the ultimate Chinese finger trap, right?
Right.
I mean, woo!
So, Libs of TikTok, and you'll notice I keep calling her Libs of TikTok. I'm not using her actual name, and I'm not going to show you her address, because I'm not the Washington Post. I'm not a psychopathic terrorist funded by Jeff Bezos. I'm not Amazon's personal hit machine. And those seem like big claims, but I'm going to back them up. Here's a story from Breitbart about Washington Post reporter readies to expose anonymous Libs of TikTok account. Here's the reporter, Taylor Lorenz. Now, what I have just done, showing you her picture, saying where she works, mentioning her name, this is not doxing. And here's the key difference. This is a public person. She is a public figure. She has made it a point to become, voluntarily, a public figure.
Arguably, we are public figures.
Correct.
Smaller public, but same
right.
principle applies.
Now, y'all know my name. I'm Christopher Lowry. But I'm not telling you what my address is. I've probably mentioned my kids by name on occasion on the show, but, you know, that's... Why would you dox a public? Keep it together, Waller. This is about to get good. Good. What she has done, and WAPO has published, is she did the shoe leather work. She physically went around to the homes of the relatives. Let me see if I can. I've got so many freaking pieces pulled up as part of this. Okay, there it is. So this is from Libs of TikTok. So back up a little bit. Libs of TikTok was thrown off of TikTok temporarily just recently for what they refer to as targeted harassment. This was a violation of our terms of service. Targeted harassment. Quick reminder, what they are defining as targeted harassment is that Libs of TikTok shared videos which were posted on public social media platforms. Okay, and a private company, okay, whatever. When you post something on a social media platform, whether or not it's a private company, what you have done is published your information to the public. You have not published all of your information. You've published that specific piece of information, which includes the video that you put out. And here we've got a picture of Taylor Lorenz through a presumably Well, I guess with the metal grate there, maybe somebody just snapped the picture with their phone. But this is from Libs of TikTok. She's sharing photos of Taylor Lorenz approaching to harass her family members.
Okay, Washington Post reporter could totally track down Libs of TikTok, but we've got no idea what's on Hunter Biden's laptop.
No. We don't know where it is.
Okay.
Yeah, she could find an anonymous user, Twitter user, but the FBI can't find Hunter's laptop. Physically lost the device.
Well, no, I mean, screw the FBI for a minute. Like, it was reporters that made the whole Watergate thing happen. Doing the old-fashioned, like, shoe leather thing, going around and asking questions and following up on leads. Like, ironically, this is what reporters used to do. They used to do it with things that were actually newsworthy as opposed to getting all pissy because, well, you know, when people make your ideology look stupid, you can't have that.
Right. So, from the Breitbart article, Washington Post reporter Taylor Lorenz has reportedly been ready to expose the anonymous owner of the private Libs of TikTok account on Twitter. Libs TikTok has garnered massive Twitter following in recent years through its posting of TikTok videos that often feature crazed leftists advocating extreme behavior in support of various causes, whether it be a mother bragging about her transgender child or a teacher boasting about X-rated sex education. Apparently, informing the public of extremist activity is a bridge too far for the leftist establishment media. They have resorted to exposing the account's owner, according to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' press secretary, Christina Pashaw, who received word of the impending public revelation when WAPO reporter Taylor Lorenz contacted her about a story exposing the woman behind the account.
Oh my God, the Colin Kaepernick headline. It was over to the right. Just scroll back up real quick.
Kaepernick pleads for an opportunity to play in NFL again.
Anyhow, okay, that was just funny.
Here you've got Christina Pashaw, who we just established is working for Ron DeSantis, sharing this from Jack Posobiec. I'm told Taylor Lorenz even showed up at the homes of family members of Libs of TikTok today. And I think Pashaw is right. That is grounds for a restraining order. And sorry, I just had to swing the banhammer at a Twitter bot trying to sell me viewers.
More bots. That's what they do. It's a bot that sells you bots.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's a bot that sells you bot. So this is... We're going to watch a little bit of this clip of Taylor Lorenz.
Wait, is this the one where she cries?
Yeah, in fact, we're not going to watch this clip. We're going to watch the Quartering shared a video. The Quartering's editor is just a meme lord.
What's up, guys? Jeremy here.
I put it over here because I wanted to start with it. Yeah, I'm going to share this. You haven't seen this yet, so... You're going to enjoy this.
You've been doxxed, you've been threatened, you've been harassed by Tucker Carlson just for calling out online harassment.
They'll threaten children, they'll threaten my parents. I've had to remove every single social tie. I had severe PTSD
this is the
from
woman
this.
that just
I contemplated suicide. It got really bad. You feel like any little piece of information that gets out on you will be used by the worst people on the internet to destroy your life. And it's...
I bring a message from Her Majesty Taylor Lorenz. Freedom to any man who identifies the slave known as Libs of TikTok. I'm Libs of TikTok.
No, I'm Libs of TikTok.
I'm Libs of TikTok.
I'm Libs of TikTok.
Oh, I'm Libs of TikTok.
I'm Libs of TikTok.
You've been doxxed, you've been threatened, you've been harassed by Tucker Carlson.
Just absolute meme master. But
I have to go back and watch that movie again. I forgot how good it was.
no shit. So basically, you've got her breaking down, crying over this. Oh, I've been harassed. And then here she is again, just a couple days ago, making similar complaints. In a recent In a recent TikTok, Taylor Lorenz explained why it's bad to engage in a doxing campaign of an individual and shares her horror at media revealing a full name without getting comment. Let's be clear. She's making that complaint. And following the occurrence where Taylor Lorenz just doxed Libs of TikTok in an article where she published Libs of TikTok's full name, home address, and other pertinent information. Washington Post issued this. Taylor Lorenz is an accomplished and diligent journalist whose reporting methods comport entirely with the Washington Post professional standards. Oh, really? In her management of the Libs of TikTok Twitter account and in media interviews has had significant impact on public discourse, and her identity had become public knowledge on social media. That's false. And then this last sentence, we did not publish or link to any details about her personal life. That is also a lie. What they did, in fact, do is they did exactly that, and then they edited the article, and then lied about having published the information, right? They changed the article online. Go back to 1984, and changing the history, we'll just go in and change it. I've talked before about how when I read 1984 as a kid, I couldn't imagine then how you could even do that, how you could go through and change all the records to fake the lie, because in the mid 80s, late 80s, when I first read that book, the internet was not the thing that it is now, and the idea of just all of the records being available to memory hole by going through and just editing everything, I thought that wouldn't be possible. You'd have to go and get your hands on all the physical copies, but you don't have to do that anymore. Nobody cares about the physical copies. They're going to search it online. But, by the way, WAPO, there's also this thing called the Internet Archive. You can go to archive.is and find it, and it's there. It's plain as day. I didn't bother pulling that one up. Tim Pool did a great video where he pulled it up and talked about it. Crowder did a great video where he pulled it up and talked about it, and they've got the resources available at their websites. And I didn't want to steal their thunder there because I want to pay more attention, because I think Tim Pool and Steven Crowder dropped the ball on this one. They spent more time talking about this situation itself. And because they did that, I want to spend a little more time on what's happening, on who this Taylor Lorenz character is. So first, just to clarify, first they banned her, and then they unbanned Libs of TikTok, and then Taylor Lorenz and her, with her WAPO Bezos backing, went and engaged on this active campaign of attempted murder through doxing. And I'm gonna back that up real quick in just a second. But when all that didn't get this girl, didn't destroy this girl's life and completely obliterate her, then they resorted to this. They've got a fake tweet that they put out. Milo Yiannopoulos didn't do anything wrong. Are people seriously arguing that you're not ready for sex under 16? That was all a distraction. The LGBT propaganda agenda is much more of a threat to the minds of children. And here you go. Ron Coleman. So Ron Coleman, Orthodox Jew, political conservative, lead lawyer in Slant's SCOTUS 1A case. So this guy's got his blue check mark. He's apparently a big effing deal. Our firm has represented Libs of TikTok for some time. The phony tweet shown below is false and defamatory. Our client never tweeted it. Legal action is being contemplated. Anyone with information concerning the creator of this fake tweet is invited to contact me. So that's just another piece of the attack mechanism that is on course. I've got several other things pulled up. So let me...
Liberals raise concerns about a count that's making them look bad just by sharing their actual words.
Yeah, remember when the Babylon Bee was satire?
And I just want to hammer a point that we kind of danced around, okay? These are the people that are driving the narrative. When people on our side of the fence, and look, let's just accept a whole bunch of things as rote to make this point. But when people on our side of the fence go too far, we shame them. In fact, we have a tendency to maybe even possibly leap a little too quickly and overcorrect. Okay, yes. Right? Like for example, when we drummed Newt Gingrich out of office in the late '90s because he had affairs, man.
It's like, wait a minute, but isn't Biden or isn't Clinton still the president?
Right, and and part of that was we were trying to maintain the moral high ground and whatever, but we took an extremely effective speaker. Like, let's say Newt Gingrich is Speaker of the House and Donald Trump is president. You think the repeal of Obamacare doesn't go through?
Right.
I mean,
that's a great example.
Hold on, okay. Let me finish. Okay, so we overcorrect, all right? But the left does not. In fact, these are the people that they tolerate. Now, some of them agree and some of them merely tolerate it, but these same psychopaths that are driving the narrative of the left and driving the policy of the White House, the left does not shame the way that we shame our own. And this is...
And the Gingrich situation is a great example. Gingrich drummed out of office over a couple of affairs. We're all fallen and flawed, yada, yada, yada. But more importantly, conservatives, I beg of you, stop pretending like you're better than Democrats. You are. You don't have to signal it. You don't have to make a show of it. You don't have to advertise your moral superiority to the enemy. They are visibly, publicly, and vulgarly immoral. You don't have to tell other people that you're better than them. They are doing it for you. So instead of burning our people at the stake, maybe every now and then a little forgiveness is in order. And that should sound like a hell of a statement for any of you that know me, because I am very, very dubious of the entire concept of forgiveness and absolution. I believe in atonement. But with a situation like the Gingrich situation, he wasn't even allowed an opportunity for atonement. If you burn people down before they have a chance to make it right, then you've taken that chance away from them, which is one of the problems with the whole censorious media situation, where somebody says something offensive online and gets banned. Well, oh, wow. Suddenly, in the place that they made their statement, they no longer have the ability to argue their case or even make an apology. They just get stamped with whatever the retort claim is, and they're stuck with it. Now, back to my assertion that doxing is attempted murder. And to be clear, I am saying that doxing is attempted murder, or at the minimum, an intelligence, propaganda, military tactic whose intended outcome is the death of the target by an unknown assailant. Right? When you dox somebody, because the probable outcome is that the worst actors available will choose to act on the information you have provided and cause the maximum expected quantity of harm to that individual, up to and including torture and death, then when you are doxing a person, especially if you're somebody like this Taylor Lorenz who's been doing that for a living, her career has been built on doxing and harassing people online. It's what she does. I'm going to back that point up in just a minute. But when you dox people, you are trying to bring upon them, by hands other than your own, without paying the fee to a hired assassin, the greatest amount of harm that you can hope to befall them. Case in point, Spike Lee tweeted out wrong address for Zimmerman, and the couple had to move. The couple that lived at the house that Spike Lee told everybody was Zimmerman's house, the couple had to move. Spike Lee paid a settlement to these people. And some of the reporting, so according to a neighbor, a number of news agencies drove through looking for Mr. Zimmerman. While it was not wise to incite the masses to go to an address he thought was Mr. Zimmerman's to begin with, Mr. Lee should still do the right thing. One of his films was called, and it was awful.
I know. Oh, I know.
And give the actual resident at the address above some peace and apologize for disrupting her life. Now, they say here, this is a snippet from another article that's being referenced in this article from Twitchy. Funny story about facts. A number of news agencies drove through looking for Mr. Zimmerman. Oh, but did they forget about this guy? Let's go smash this. RT Macapone. Everybody repost this. George Zimmerman, right? That sounds like a credible reporter for a major news agency. That actually it does. In fact, it sounds a lot like this one.
Well, it sounds more authentic. And I can say this: that guy's not sociopathic. Like whatever. I'm blanking on her name, but the reporter we've spent the whole episode talking about.
Taylor Lorenz.
Thank you. Yes, that's. I don't know that there's actual emotion behind those eyes, but I'm not trying to derail you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that.
And then another great example. Another great example of the threat, the danger. Author Andy No, who exposed Antifa, says he was beaten by masked mob. And let me see if they've got any images of Andy in this. Okay, so they beat the crap out of his hands, broke some bones, busted his eye. They beat the absolute crap out of Andy No. And this is not the only time Andy No's been beaten. And Andy No is far from a far-right conservative. After Antifa tried to kill me again, Andy No tweeted late Wednesday sharing photos of injuries he said were inflicted in the attack last Friday at a rally. When I say last Friday, this is from June of last year. This article's a year old, but making the point that this was the result of doxing of Andy No. So that's what's going to happen when you dox somebody, and this is not an unknown phenomenon. And I would love for somebody to try and argue the case that, where the hell did I put the other article? These are all, oh, there it is. Okay, I would love to hear somebody argue that, well, maybe the case is that Taylor Lorenz just isn't aware of the probable harm, and so the intent isn't formed there. And to that, I'm going to, I see your claim, and I raise you, Caroline Glick in Pamela Geller attack, Taylor Lorenz and media are stupid and evil. So, Pamela Geller, after the Charlie Hebdo incident, yeah, we're turning it back. We're going back a bit.
Right.
So, when was Hebdo? Was that 2015? Yes. So, the Charlie Hebdo incident was... Charlie Hebdo was a French newspaper that published some cartoons making fun of Muhammad. And then a bunch of, peaceful Muslims went in and murdered everybody at the newspaper. And of course, there was all this immediate, you can't say that they're all terrorists. This isn't indicative of... I have met peaceful Muslims who are not engaged and actively supporting terrorism and murder. They are the drastic minority of that demographic. A Muslim that does not support jihad and active violence against the United States is a radical Muslim. they are the heretic. The core faith, the common Islamic religion, is violence. Full stop. So, in this case, Geller was a known entity. When the mainstream media tried to run cover and pretend like this was just some lone wolf, unrelated thing at Charlie Hebdo, Geller ran a Draw the Prophet Muhammad contest as a protest against the suppression of free speech, and a fatwa was issued against her by ISIS. Remember, this was after Obama was elected and was in office to create ISIS and, oh, by the way, fund them directly with pallets of cash. So, the ISIS terrorists came and attempted to kill Geller. Now, Taylor Lorenz had nothing to do with that. Instead, after ISIS issued a fatwa and came to kill Pamela Geller, Taylor Lorenz is the reporter that said, oh, hey, these are her 4 daughters. By the way, hey, terrorists, she also has 4 daughters. Now, I'm not saying that you should go to the listed home addresses on the picture of 4 daughters that I'm publishing for you and cut their heads off like, you do. But here they are, just in case you wanted to go and murder some more people. That's who Taylor Lorenz is. So the idea that her doxing the Libs of TikTok chick is somehow not done with the full intent to get psychotic leftists to come down on this woman and murder her. Right? It's not just canceling people. The idea of cancel culture itself is horrifying and cruel and evil, because what you're trying to do with the whole cancel culture thing, when you cancel somebody, you're attempting to remove their livelihood. You're identifying a comment made on social media, probably in jest, or ironically, or, God forbid, as an honest opinion that it's not okay to mutilate the genitalia of prepubescent children for political reasons. You psychotic shitburgers.
Well, we talked about this before. Like, one of the reasons why I wanted to do the episode on Lindsay Ellis is Lindsay Ellis is a huge lib and just ever so slightly stepped outside the plantation and they all turned on her.
Yeah. But to pretend, the idea that Lorenz is not driven to send some of these psychotics to murder this woman, no, that's not the case. Lorenz had murder in her heart when she doxed Libs of TikTok.
There's something broken about her. Like, when you go back and you watch the thing with the tears, like, people said that Kyle Rittenhouse's tears looked fake. Okay, fine, whatever, King LeBron.
Yeah.
But those, like, what?
Queen LeBronda.
Did you just assume it's gender?
Yes, because I have eyes.
Anyhow. But no, there's something, like, I sincerely believe there's something, like, sociopathic about Taylor. Like, something is broken inside that woman.
Oh, yeah. And Jeff Goldblum mentions her crying.
Anyhow,
I think I closed it. Oh, well.
We're so, golly, we are so long.
Yes, we are. So, I'll close with this. I am absolutely making the claim that every case of doxing is either attempted murder or a military tactic intended to result in the death of the targeted dox victim. And I do make that distinction, right? Killing combatants in war is not the same as murder. So I might be willing to give Taylor Lorenz the benefit of the doubt to go so far as to say that what she has done is not attempt to murder the lady behind Libs of TikTok, but rather conduct a targeted military strike in an actual war, which makes her a combatant, by the way. What I will not say, ever, is that killing people in war is wrong. But murdering people without cause outside of war is. And finally, and I probably should have kind of woven this through the rest of the narrative on today's show, but when you think about stuff like this doxing activity, this is not dissimilar to the way that the IRS targeting of conservative 501c3s occurred under Obama. Obama didn't say, hey, Miss Lerner, I would really appreciate it if you would go and take this specific detrimental action against my particular opponents.
Didn't have to.
He just, by the nature of what he is, made his constituents aware that he would appreciate if they were to do things.
That's a nice 501c you have there. It'd be a real shame if someone were to audit it.
That's what's happening with doxing. This is the sixth generational warfare that I was talking about, where you've gone into instead of asymmetric warfare, this is the conduct of amorphous warfare, as I like to call it, where I don't need complex and effective communications networks within my organization, because I can nebulize the suggestive communications across broad swaths of media, and instead of giving orders to actual soldiers whose responsibility, whose welfare is my responsibility, instead I can program people who would otherwise be non-combatants to take illicit actions in what they believe to be their own accord, their own impetus. Right? Nebulized, amorphous combat. That is what these people are engaged in. And that is what we must be vigilant about. And that's also why, here's hoping, Elon, because I used his name in the tags, wins his Twitter war. Y'all be safe out there, and we will see you tomorrow.